Hi, my name is Rêve. I'm a dance pop artist from Montreal, and you're watching The Music Enthusiast.
Hi, I'm Sarah from the Music Enthusiast, and today I'm here with Rev. How are you?
So good. How are you?
So good. Again, I saw you live, I think maybe a week or two ago now, but it was so amazing. I went with two of my friends and they were like obsessing over you. So how's your day been so far?
The day has been amazing. Just spending some time chatting about Whitney and about control and just meeting lots of lovely people like yourself and just chatting music.
I'm also from Montreal. I know that Rev means dream in French. So what is one of your dreams that have stuck out with you?
Oh my gosh, I've been having weird, vivid dreams lately, and I've been stuck on Dream Talk on TikTok, which I kind of love.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dream, like this is really dark to start the interview like this, but I always have dreams that I'm like being held hostage.
Oh my god, I always have dreams where I'm like being chased after.
I get that a lot too. I wonder what it is. I would love to sit with somebody and do like a deep dive on my dreams. Do you have a dream journal?
I don't, but I should.
Same. I've been meaning to get one because like I always remember them the second I wake up and I'm like, I really need to dive into my subconscious because there's probably something going on.
Yeah, me too. Usually I don't remember what my dreams were about, but it's only like the crazy and weird ones that stick out to me for some reason.
100% where you're just like, I haven't seen that person in 10 years. Why were they in my dream last night?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just released Whitney. It's such a bop, as per usual, but it's more like it goes into, I guess, your childhood, you could say, and just like you're noting your idols. There's Whitney, there's Brittany, there's Jackie, there's Michael. I could just go on with the list. What was the first thing that stuck out for this song? Was it a specific lyric? Was it beat? Was it melody? Was it the dance, sort of?
Whenever I talk about inspiration, I tell people that it can literally come from anywhere. And this song was actually inspired by a dish towel in my mom's kitchen.
Okay.
That was one of those really Hallmark type quotes on a dish towel that says like, dance like nobody's watching, sing like nobody's listening.
Oh,
And I was a bit tipsy at the time. I'd had one and I was like, that's really profound, but what if we made it more like relatable? And so I wrote it down in my notes. And then the next day I was like, why not compare them to my favorite icons from my childhood? So it was like dance like Michael, sing like Whitney, fuck like Marilyn Monroe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I had those lyrics for a while. And then one day I was sitting down at the piano and the verses just kind of poured out of me. And it was about not wanting to grow too old before my time. And at the time I was still working a 9 to 5 in Montreal. And it was about not wanting to run out of time and like wanting to go full-fledged into music. And this is like, oddly enough, this is the song that let me do that.
amazing. And you sang it live when you performed at Montreal. Have you experimented with this live before that show?
Yeah. So we've been performing it all summer long just to kind of test the waters. And everybody knows the chorus because everybody knows I'm every woman. And the response has been really, really great all summer. I closed the show with it.
Why did you pick that song to sample from?
So the pre-chorus kind of mentions men and women who are inspiration to me. And I think that there's such a duality when it kind of like womanhood is not just about femininity, it's also about your masculine side too, and it's all encompassing. So I'm every woman felt like a good fit because that's what it means to be a womanhood and to be a person, is to be all these great sides of both masculine and feminine, and all the things that make you a woman are different. And so that kind of stuck out as a sample to me. And it was originally going to be a placeholder because I was like, I can't think of an epic chorus, so I'm just going to stick this in right here as a placeholder. And it ended up staying. And I'm really, really happy it did.
This song was made like 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, I wrote it back in 2017.
That's insane. So was it like kept in like a box for like safekeeping, or were you just like, did you forget about this track and it randomly reappeared?
Well, I never really forgot about it. For many, many years, it was my favorite song that I had ever written. And the reason why it took so long is because when you sample a song or you interpolate a song like I did, you have to go to the original writers of the song and you have to ask them for their permission to use it. And then they can say, okay, we want to take X amount of percentage for this. And sometimes that process can be easy. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. For this song, it was years because one of the people who unfortunately was a writer on the song passed away. And so we were dealing with estates, which made things very, very complicated. And so there was years that we did not hear back from the estate. We never thought we would clear it. Nobody at any label thought that we could clear it. And then finally in 2020, we got news that they approved the interpolation. So we were finally able to put it out, but we already had a bunch of singles that were already slotted for the year. So we said, okay, after we bang out those singles, which are Ctrl+alt+del, Headphones, and Still Dancing, then we can move on with Whitney. And it was finally time last week.
Yeah, perfect. And honestly, the wait was so worth it because I'm still stuck on Still Dancing and Ctrl+alt+del. Like they're all bops, but then when Whitney was released, I was like another one. She released another
Aw,
one.
thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it.
No problem. And you worked with Banks and Ranks on this one again. So what's so special about this connection that you just keep coming back to them?
I cannot say enough about these guys. Like they are so fabulous. They're the salt of the earth. They are amazing, amazing people. They're so talented. Sometimes you just have this connection with writers and co-collaborators that it just works. And I think it's because like every single one of us just leaves our ego at the door and we create very, very well together. So we keep coming back and just writing together because it works so well.
You also worked with Joel Stufer. I could be pronouncing that wrong. And I think this is actually your first time working with him. So how did you two meet and what was working with him like?
I was living in Montreal and I was going back and forth to Toronto quite a bit to kind of work with producers here. And Joel was one of the first people that I met back in 2018 as a producer I really, really liked in the city. And I had the song Whitney that I wrote. And we had worked on a couple of songs together back then. And one day I came into the studio and I was like, I have this song and I really like, nobody's gotten the production right so far, but do you want to take a crack at it? And he took a stab at it and I love what he did. Banks and Ranks sprinkled their magic on it. So it was their first co-collab together. And that's how Whitney came to be.
Perfect. And again, this track is insane. It came along with a music video where you're like, you're dressed like Marilyn Monroe. You're trying on all these cool outfits, and like honestly, the music video is so cool. Like I would love to live in that music video. So what was filming that like? It seemed so fun.
It was such a fun process. I mean, I always had this concept that I wanted to, because that was a song that basically changed my life. Like it was a song that, you know, my label heard for the first time and I was able to go and like live out my childhood dreams. So it was really important to me that at the beginning of the video that you saw a younger version of me just transforming into the person that I've always wanted to be. And then just paying homage to all of like my favorite, you know, artists that are mentioned in the song. And so working with the stylist and our beauty team and the director, Dan Lemoyne, who's incredible, we wanted to pay homage to all the people that I, you know, mentioned in the song, but without it looking like cosplay. So there's a little nod of a hat to each character in the role, Marilyn being the most kind of obvious one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to live in each of those characters for the day. It was really, really cool. The team absolutely killed it.
Yeah, for sure. It's insane. I heard that when you were younger, you had like a grand piano and you would try to match keys with the xylophone that you had as a kid. So what is your most fondest musical memory?
I have so many like that from my childhood. It's just like sitting for hours. Like I was never the kid who was good at school. Like I was good at English, but not much else. Never into sports, didn't have many friends. I was like very awkward looking kid, very awkward, emotional kid. And so I would just come home and like music, like my piano became my therapist for so many years. So I would just lock myself in my basement and just write songs all day. So my earliest memories of music were just sitting in my basement trying to like match the notes to like the piano. And I eventually taught myself how to, you know, accompany myself. I'm not like this crazy pianist, but I can accompany myself. So that was like my first musical memory, but I grew up in a house full of music and my dad plays guitar. He's fabulous. And he sparked my interest in it to begin with. So it all came from childhood and being home.
Amazing. And this is a fun question for you. If you could describe your music as an animal, which animal would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. My friends would laugh because I describe, they're like, what's your animal? And I say possum as a joke because they're absolutely chaotic. Because I don't know why I relate to them so hard because they're always screaming. But my music, I would say maybe like an ostrich, because like it seems like one thing and then it opens up and it's like just a ton of different things and patterns and colors.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll think of a better one later and then I'll be like, I wish I said this, but yeah.
I love it. And my last question for you is, who are your favorite artists right now?
Right now, Tuvelu Tovlo, obsessed with her and her music. I think that she's an incredible writer. Her pop sensibility is off the charts. I've always been a big fan. I love Robin. I love Lady Gaga. I love Fletcher. I love, oh my gosh, there's so many of them, but those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
Perfect. Well, it was so fun chatting with you. And again, the song is a bop. Whenever you come back.